Hey guys, Rick the RallySportDirect here, and today we're going to talk about the top 5 suspension mods that you can do to your Subaru. Let's dive into this. Number 1, coilovers. Coilovers could be perhaps the most popular and well-known suspension upgrade. You know, on the surface, they're known to be the easiest out-of-the-box means of lowering your vehicle past the limits of your conventional lowering springs. People want that race-inspired looks, and coilovers will certainly get you there. However, due to the fact that there are so many available levels of coilovers, from something that's super basic, that just allow you to lower your vehicle, and to some, more track-oriented coilovers. But most coilovers will come ready to install right out of the box, which eliminates the need to get a spring compressor and perform the disassembly of your factory shocks and springs. And most coilovers are going to have your damping and rebound adjustments built into one knob, so it's going to make it pretty easy to either soften the ride or stiffen it up, depending on the feel you're looking for. Now, that doesn't cover all of the reasons what makes them so great, but generally speaking, when someone starts thinking about suspension upgrades, chances are the first thing they're going to think about is coilovers. Number 2, sway bars. Now, simply put, a sway bar is just there to help reduce the roll of your vehicle when you're going around a corner, which is why they're also known as anti-roll bars. Now, a larger sway bar will not only reduce the body roll when entering or exit a corner, but it can also be used to tune in the understeer and oversteer characteristics of your vehicle. This is one of the most cost-effective suspension upgrades, and honestly one of the most rewarding for the driver, as you can really dial it in to improve the confidence on the track or the canyon or just on the street. And with so many sway bar options out there, ranging from significantly larger than stock all the way to smaller than stock, it really just kind of comes down to your driving preference. Typically, a smaller sway bar would be used in more off-road type situations where you do want the independent suspension to be well more independent, where a larger sway bar will generally improve overall handling, but seasoned track enthusiasts or people who really know their car's handling capability may opt for something like a larger front or a larger rear to compensate for over or understeering. They're just basically trying to find the right balance to accommodate their driving style, and you can easily do that with sway bars. Number 3, and alignment. Now, alignment is something I feel like a lot of people overlook. They think about an alignment and they think just going down to their local alignment store and getting the car set up for basically factory specs. And while that's fine because it's going to help reduce tire wear and alignment issues, but a proper alignment can be critical not only on the track, but also on the street. For example, in a high-performance driving condition, caster is an incredibly important alignment angle to focus on. Caster is essentially the angle between the upper and lower ball joints on the front suspension. If the angle leans towards the front of the vehicle, that's negative caster. If it leans towards the rear of the vehicle, that's positive caster. Think of it like the forks on the front of a motorcycle or a bicycle. That's going to be positive caster. And what happens on a bicycle at a high rate of speed? You let go of the handlebars, it wants to keep going straight. That's essentially what it's going to do on your car as well. So generally, you'll notice a decent improvement in handling and feel if you add a little bit more positive caster. Another important alignment angle that you've probably heard of is camber. Now, of course, negative camber being where the top of the tire is pointed inwards, and positive camber where the top of the tire is pointed outwards. Now, a decent amount of negative camber can actually greatly improve the overall handling characteristics and feel of the car as you enter into a corner and through the corner. Essentially, what you're trying to do with camber is keep the tire as flat as possible through the corner to maximize grip. Too much negative camber, you're just going to wear out the inside of the tire. Not enough, you're going to wear out the outside. You want to keep that wear pattern nice and even. But needless to say, a proper alignment can make all the difference in the world. And even if it is just a daily driven car, you'd be surprised what some adjustments outside of the factory range could really do for you. Number 4, control arms. Now, aftermarket control arms make for an excellent investment into your suspension, because with some coilover setups, you could lower your car to the point where the factory alignment settings won't be effective, or you essentially can't get it to the alignment that you want. And with aftermarket adjustable control arms, you have a lot more control over that alignment. Additionally, your control arms host some of the most pivotal bushings in the vehicle, as they're basically the main suspension bushings which are controlling, well, what your car is doing. Now, worn bushings in your control arm should always be replaced, especially if you plan on taking your car to the track or driving at speed. But worn bushings will generally make a lot of noise and cause premature wear on other suspension components as well as your tires. But overall, it's really going to affect the handling and the performance and the consistency of your vehicle. Now, aftermarket control arms have definitely increased in popularity, mainly due to, the stance scene or the extreme lowering scene. But as a benefit, if you're just into proper handling, you have a wide range of control arms that really allow you to dial in the suspension geometry and get exactly what you're looking for out of your car. And number 5, chassis bracing. Now, chassis bracing is incredibly beneficial, particularly on an older car if you're really trying to improve the handling. But honestly, even on a brand new car, you can still benefit from the proper chassis bracing. Whether it's on the street or the track, the bracing is going to improve the structural rigidity of your chassis and allow the suspension to do what it's supposed to do instead of the chassis flexing and messing everything up. Now, some common examples of chassis bracing include strut bars, whether it's on the front or the rear, but there are also other suspension braces that, bridge those kind of critical connecting points throughout the car. And chances are, with any chassis, an aftermarket company has identified some of the weak flexing points on that car and has come out with a solution for it. Because ultimately, all we're trying to do is make the chassis as stiff and rigid as possible to improve the overall handling and driving characteristics. Now, I know I wasn't able to cover everything, and with all the different chassis out there, you could really start getting into some very specific modifications based off that chassis alone. But if there was something I missed, make sure to drop it down in the comments below and let us know what kind of car you have and what you thought of that particular mod. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys watching. Do me a favor, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more videos just like this, and as always, appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.